All right, muchachos. The Dude Can Cook. Probably one of my favorite channels for recipes on YouTube right now because he's not doing the Wiseman. That's what I call it. Not that I got anything really against Joshua Wiseman. He went veered off onto like I tried every fried chicken sandwich in America, and I'm like I don't give a shit about that. Just show me the recipes. But whatever. Some people like that, and to each their own. This guy doesn't do that, which is why I really like his channel, amongst a ton of other channels. The chicken and sauce combo I can't stop making. Well, sure, it's a little clickbaity, right? But to get that YouTube cheddar, what are you gonna do? That's what you got to do. You got to play the game, right? So we're gonna watch this.
Favorite chicken dishes I
See,
learned
yeah,
whilst
how it
working
is.
in restaurants, and I really love
Okay, let's
with a
fast forward.
mustard velouté sauce, which is essentially a little bit like gravy,
Love
but
mustard.
more on that in a minute.
A mustard velouté. I like that. I make a mustard dill sauce, and you put that over some pork chops or chicken. Fuck me. Forget about it.
There's no time to waste. Now let's go. Okay, my friends, now for starters, we are going to be making some rosemary salt. If you know, you know, and if you don't know.
All right, let's skip past this as fast as possible because I've made the rosemary salt and it is good. But I don't recommend using the quantities that he does because it makes a ton of salt. And he said before, I go through that in like 2 weeks. I'm like, holy shit, bro. Like, that's a lot of salt to go through in 2 weeks. So I halved it. Very good salt. You can't go wrong with a little, compound salt, as it were, I guess. So let's just speed through this.
No, it's just this herb salt we make on the channel. It's got sage, rosemary, garlic, lemon zest, and if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this salt. Just blindly trust a man on the internet who's been cooking professionally for 20 years and just listen to him. Just listen to this dude for once. Make the rosemary salt. Dude, this stuff is
Let's
absolutely
go.
killer. We're gonna take a food processor and start by dumping in a whole bunch of kosher salt. And by the way, this is the brand I buy because of the coarseness of it. I've tried other kosher salt and it ends up being too fine. I'm sure you could use other salts like sea salt as well. Just make sure you
That's funny because I bought Morton's and I put that in the food processor because I find it's a little too coarse for just general cooking. Which, of course, he's going to put through the food processor, so I'm an idiot anyway. So, anyways.
you're using a really
Why did
coarse
I even
one.
bother
Then
with
simply
that?
just take some rosemary, grab the top, and we're just gonna strip all those leaves off just like this. Dump it in, and just repeat that process with all of your rosemary. And then same exact deal with your fresh sage.
All right. Okay.
It is the most efficient way to do it. Cloves of fresh garlic.
Yes.
Just to make sure
Blend it up.
this whole thing. I do try to use this up within 2 to 3 weeks for that optimal flavor and freshness.
2
It's
to
good on
3
beef,
weeks.
chicken, lamb, pork, even
that's a
fish.
lot
It's
of
great on
salt.
salmon, root vegetables, potatoes, carrots. People put it on popcorn. It really is amazing to have around.
Hello.
This batch, though, I made specifically for my mom, who's visiting from Colorado. And here you go, Mom.
Oh my God.
She loves it. Every time we come here, she tells me she takes like all of my rosemary salt.
Yep.
So I pack it up for
Oh
her.
my God,
I don't know.
I
I tell her she can make it, but she wants it's like special if I made it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So there you go.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sunshine.
love you, Mom.
I love you.
Next for this recipe, we're gonna keep it really
that's
simple because we're
sweet.
just gonna bake some whole chicken legs. I pieced out a whole chicken so I could make a quick stock by roasting those bones and just covering it with water and simmering for about 45 minutes. I didn't even do any onions, carrots, celery, no aromatics, nothing. Literally chicken and water, right? Because I just prefer that to using a bouillon paste. It's always gonna be better because it has that gelatin and that real chicken flavor. Having said that, if you're crunched for time, you can absolutely use bouillon and it will work. It will be delicious as well. On another note,
Yeah, like crunch for time. Like I don't know. You know what? How long does he cook this
if you want
for?
to just bake some thighs or do some legs or roast a whole chicken, do whatever you want, right? It's just the sauce is going to work well with any of those preparations. I just hit my whole chicken legs with a little bit of rosemary salt, let them sit for about an hour so that seasoning can penetrate a little bit.
So he didn't say how long he's making that stock for. I mean, generally speaking, you're going to do that for like a couple hours for a chicken stock. Here's my suggestion. Get some of those silicone trays with the lids. That's what I do when I make a beef stock. You put it in there, you freeze it, and it comes out in these like certain, I've got like half cup, 2 cup sizes. Freeze it, put it in a fucking Ziploc, throw it in the freezer, keep it that way. Like, why would you? I wouldn't make a chicken stock before making the actual recipe because that's too much time. Because most of us, let's face it, we don't have that kind of time to do that before making the actual dish. Or, that better than bouillon, you can get the chicken or beef. So I would be using that.
And then we're just going to blast them in a fork.
That's just me. But let's take it off the 1.5.
100-degree
Since we're
oven
at the
for
video.
between 40 and 50 minutes, maybe even up to an hour if you had some really big legs. Mine are on the smaller side, but I'll give you that exact timing when they come out. In the meantime, let's make the sauce. Now, before we make this sauce, let me tell you about my favorite cookware
time.
company and a long-term sponsor of this channel who I'm very proud to have, Made in Cookware. And to be quite honest,
Made
I've
in
been a
Cookware.
loyal user of their pots and pans for years
heard mixed
before they ever
reviews about
sponsored
Made
this
in,
channel, so
actually.
take that for what it's worth. But just know that I find these to be
generally don't
essential
go
tools when I want to produce the highest quality of food in
ads.
this kitchen. And speaking of quality, that is exactly why why I love made-ins. What we're gonna make here is called a mustard veloute. You can think of this sort of like gravy with that added Dijon mustard for salt and kick. And this recipe actually comes from
Dijon
Fallow,
mustard
one
and
of my
sauce.
personal
Love it.
favorite YouTube channels and somewhere where I go to learn. I'm a big fan of those guys. Definitely give them a follow if you haven't already. And so very simply, we're just gonna start by adding some butter into our pot. And once your butter is completely melted,
That was Fallow. Yeah, I follow those guys too. Fallo.
go ahead and add your flour. Full recipe is going to be in the description, as always, when you're watching one of my videos.
roux
We're going to
action.
work that in. Right now, we're making a roux. Pretty standard, guys, okay? It's a base to a lot of sauces. It's a thickening agent, and it's handy to know how to make. And one of the major pitfalls you need to avoid when making a good roux is not cooking it long enough. I see a lot of people make roux, and they just melt the flour and the butter.
Oh, shit.
And these
Fuck that one up. What I meant to do was 1.5. There we go.
start adding whatever liquid is coming next. Could be milk, could be
Fuck, not 1.5. God damn it. Oh, I'm really screwing this up here, folks.
stock. And when you do that, you're not letting that flour properly cook off and develop flavor. It's gonna taste raw if you don't. It's not a nice flavor. You really wanna smell like this sort of almost like baked cookie kind of smell before you start adding the liquid.
wanna
In this
darken
case,
that
we're
up.
making a really light roux. I'll go 4 or 5 minutes with this, but there are some recipes where you take that roux 45 minutes, an hour. You get this dark brown roux, black Cajun roux. So there's all these various stages of roux. If you're making a Mornay or some kind of white sauce like bechamel, you don't wanna put too much color on this. But if you're making like a really delicious flavor-packed beefy gravy, you wanna cook that roux more. Like match the roux to the color of the stock you're cooking is a good technique. And after
That
about
does
4
make
minutes, you can
sense.
see my roux here has really darkened in color a little bit. Smells totally different. Now I'm gonna turn up that heat a little bit and we're gonna start adding our wine, which is just dry white wine. You could leave it out if you don't wanna cook with this, straight in. And I'm switching to a whisk now, whereas before I had a spatula, because you really wanna make this nice and smooth. And you'll see when you're making these sauces, you think, all right, did I screw it up right now? Nope, it always seizes up before you add enough liquid and then finally it will loosen up. And after about 2 minutes with the wine, I'm gonna start adding my chicken
Add the
stock little by little. This stock is hot. I'm only adding about a third at a time, and
It's
then I go
hot,
back to
alright.
this whisk, and you need to heat it back up before it will re-thicken. And so what I'm doing now is just really working this. If your arm doesn't hurt by the end of this, you really haven't done it right. And once it's all worked
I got enough experience looking at pornography. I can make a roux any day.
in, another third,
Let's keep this PG-13, folks, okay?
and again we return to that vigorous whisking. Just really work it. You can shake the pan while you whisk like this, that really
Work
helps.
it.
And in with the rest of our stock.
You know, there's so many comparisons you can make to cooking, to like pulling your pud. Really work it. Ah, it's like getting your getting a hand job from a chick who's never done it before. She works it.
We'll give that one final really good whisk. And
Practically tears it off.
right about there, that's looking good. Now we're just gonna keep that heat on a low simmer and just let this bubble away. And after about 5 minutes here, you can see it's really thick. For my personal preference, I'm just gonna add a little water. If you had stock, you could definitely add that. But I do want to thin it out just a little bit. I don't like my sauces overly thick. Something like that looks good. And after about 5 minutes of simmering, just set this to the side and grab a little bowl. And we're gonna add a big old spoon of Dijon, 1 to 2 tablespoons. And what we're gonna do here is pour over about a third of our veloute. And taking a little spatula here, I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a really good mix before adding it back to the sauce. Something about Dijon and sauces, it's hard to get that properly mixed in when you just dump it straight into the sauce. So you want to temper it in like this so you don't end up with lumps.
I've never done
It's a great
that.
trick, and a lot of chefs use this for a variety of purposes. So get that all straight back in, and we'll get that whisk going. We'll check again for thickness. Mine needs a little more stock. Again, if you like your sauce really thick, there's absolutely
I love my sauce thick.
nothing wrong with that. There we go. And now we're gonna finish with a little splash of heavy cream. Get that nicely mixed in. And we're
Naturally.
gonna add a whole bunch of chopped tarragon. If you've never had tarragon, it's like a licoricey sort of taste.
Tarragon is
Some people love it,
beautiful.
some people
Tarragon's beautiful, and you rarely see it in recipes. I love it. Problem with buying herbs, I should probably try and grow my own this year. Just started growing herbs last year. Problem with buying it is like so much of it goes to waste, and I fucking hate that. I hate spending money on something, and half of it goes to waste unless you're making something with tarragon until you use it all up, which
hate it.
suppose.
Definitely loved among chefs. If you don't like that licorice flavor, you can leave this out. You could use another herb in here as well. With some rosemary, some sage, whatever you like. And last but not least, a little bit of Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. You
gotta have the
legend. That is just fresh ground black pepper, my friend. Do as little or as much as you like. I'm quite a fan of pepper, as you can see, since I dressed one up and talked to it and shit like that. Give that a good mix in, and just give it one more final taste.
Yeah, I
for
wonder how the
seasoning,
Gilbert thing
considering the
came
recipe
about.
came from Fallow. I think it's going to be pretty good. I hold those guys to high standards. And speaking of high standards, I just spent an ungodly amount of money on high standard gaming equipment for my new gaming channel, That Dude Can Game. I've been a gamer since I was a little kid.
I'm sorry, did he say gaming channel? Hold on a second.
Guys to high standards. And speaking of high standards, I just spent an ungodly amount of money on high standard gaming equipment for my new gaming channel, That Dude Can.
He's doing a gaming channel now. I did not know that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, cool. Whatever. I was gonna say, like, what the hell's he hawking computers for? But I guess he's got a gaming channel now. Yeah. Okay, whatever.
Game. I've been a gamer since I was a little kid in the 90s. It's just something I do on the side for fun to relax. So I thought, why not turn a fun hobby into a full-time job? That's what I've done. If you're into gaming, there'll be a link in the corner as well as the description. Go and check it out. Show yourself.
Okay, I gotta copy video URL. I gotta check that out after this.
Support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Woo, banging. I will mention, I didn't put any salt in my chicken stock. If you have salty chicken stock, be careful about how much Dijon you add. Mine is spot on, but if I had a salty stock, I would have added 1 tablespoon of Dijon instead of like 2. Delicious. And a lot of you may know this, but whenever you make a roux-based gravy type sauce and you let it sit, it develops this sort of thick, nasty skin on top that is really hard to mix back in to make a smooth sauce again. Some people use cling film right on top, but that wastes a lot of gravy whenever you take it off.
That's why I take out what I need and freeze the rest. That's it.
Lid doesn't quite do the trick either. What I found best is water, but if you try to just dump water on here with a cup, it's definitely gonna sink down through that, and we need it resting on top, preventing that skin. So here's what we do. Squeeze bottle. This is such a great technique, because if you've ever made these sauces, you know. And all I'm gonna do is just spray a little bit, and what this is gonna do is just put 1 little layer of water on top, preventing.
I mean, yeah, that sounds great, but if you've got enough for what you're using at the time, why would you, like, what are you going to do with the sauce? Unless you're putting it in the fridge for the next day, or you're going to use it until it's gone, then I guess that makes sense. But you're going to put it in the pot? I guess he's just showing it for, a little life hack here for, if you were going to put it in the fridge. I shouldn't be such a dick, but I'm being a bit of a dick.
That skin from forming. Aren't you glad you're subscribed to That Dude Can Cook so you get these kind of tips on a daily
I
basis?
am glad.
Wow. And after
Very
45
glad.
minutes here, our chicken is done. The skin is nice and crunchy on top. It's about 200 degrees in there. I really like taking legs and thighs to that temperature. It just gets so good. But anywhere from 180 to 200 is preferred. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and remove these legs for a second to rest, and we'll put our pan back on medium heat, because all this stuff in here is called fond and it is full of flavor. I'm gonna dump in about half of my velouté, and you may have noticed that the sauce looks a lot thicker now. That's just because it cooled down. As this heats up, now you're really gonna see it loosen up, and mine actually needs a touch more liquid. I'm honestly only using water right now because there's so much flavor in this. I don't want to bring any more salt or anything like that, so just a bit of water. Just gonna give that one more final taste. Man, this sauce really reminds me of something. I would just say it has this restaurant taste that I absolutely love, and it's really that combo of wine, tarragon, and mustard that is making it pop. So that is absolutely.
I just noticed this. What's with the Nordic Ware ad here?
Delicious. Now I'm dropping my chicken leg
right back in here,
and I'm literally doing this because I want to make a nice thumbnail in this pan. But of course, if you want to go just straight on a plate, put the sauce on the side, I recommend you just puddle the sauce underneath the chicken, put the chicken on top. But otherwise, that's really all she wrote, my friends. You can serve this up with any side you want. Be great with mash, any kind of veg side, whatever you like, really. Got Marcus here to taste it with us. And by the way, that's enough sauce for like 8 chicken legs, I only cooked 2 chicken legs. That's enough sauce for like 8 people easy. So
For me, that's the ratio I want with sauce.
Marcus and I both love sauce. This is our kind of dish.
So when he moved into this new location, this house, wherever that is, I think it's Texas. Anyways, are him and Marcus an item? I've been wondering this, and I don't care, but I am kind of curious. I'm not going to lie. Like, do they live together? Are they roommates? Or because Marcus came around whenever he, moved into the house. But the other day, it doesn't really matter. Like, who really gives a shit? I mean, when you got a channel like this, you're going to want a camera guy if you got 2 million subscribers, right? Doing it on your own on a tripod like yours fucking truly here ain't gonna cut it if you want to get higher quality videos. I tried skipping once as a fat guy. It didn't work out well for my knees.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Very restaurant-y.
I give that 5 big stabs.
Yeah, this is banging. The sauce is just punchy, Got all that Dijon.
All right, yeah, definitely would tarragon in a sauce. Love it. Definitely would try it. Anyways, muchachos, I gotta go check out his gaming channel, and that's all I got for you, mother bitches. Peace out. Stay cool. I'm out.